Good afternoon and welcome to the Amex Stadium in Brighton for a real relegation six-pointer as the Clarets, who have just dropped into the bottom three thanks to Cardiff getting a lucky late winner at Southampton. Thanks Southampton for that. Take on Brighton, who have only had one winning 10, but Burnley certainly the form team. This really is a real relegation six-pointer. A win for Burnley would drag Brighton right into the thick of danger, and who knows what might happen from here on in. Full match commentary live on the JB Claret YouTube channel. Kick-off 5:30. Good evening from the Amex down on the south coast. It's been, well, the Burnley fans have made it okay despite the advances of Storm Eric, but it's been tough going these last few weeks, and I'll give you the two lineups just quickly, but before we do, we'll get on to the game properly in a second or two. There have been some important results. Cardiff, as I say, winning, which has annoyed me somewhat, but we're gonna quickly now go before we start. And before we start anything, the build up to the game, we've got the full classified check, because I'm sure you all want to know. If you haven't, you've been out to the shops or you've been watching the rugby, I'm sure you won't know half the full-time scores, so we'll endeavour to bring those to you just a moment or two now. So we're going to bring you the full classified check now on today's 3 o'clock kickoffs, in case you missed them earlier today. So a full classified check then. Starting of course with the Premier League. Brighton against Burnley is our match at 5:30, don't miss that. Crystal Palace 1, West Ham 1, Fulham 0, Manchester United 3, Huddersfield 1, Arsenal 2, Liverpool 3, Bournemouth 0, Southampton 1, Cardiff 2, and Watford 1, Everton 0. Now the Sky Bet Championship. Blackburn Rovers 0, Bristol City 1, Bolton Wanderers 1, Preston North End 2, Derby County 2, Hull City 0, Middlesbrough 1, Leeds United 1, Nottingham Forest 2, Brentford 1, QPR 3, Birmingham City 4, Rotherham 1, Wigan Athletic 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0, Reading 0. Stoke City against West Bromwich Albion is an evening kick-off at 5:30, and Swansea City 1, Millwall 0. Sky Bet League 1, AFC Wimbledon 0, Burton Albion 2, Blackpool 2, Walsall 0, Bradford 0, Fleetwood Town 1, Bristol Rovers 1, Shrewsbury 1, Charlton 1, Southend United 1, Doncaster 3, Peterborough 1, Gillingham 1, Barnsley 4, Luton Town 3, Wycombe Wanderers 0, Oxford 1, Sunderland 1, Plymouth 1, Portsmouth 1, Rochdale 0, Coventry City 1, and Scunthorpe United 2, Accrington Stanley 0. Sky Bet League 2, Cambridge 1, Port Vale 0, Carlisle 1, Exeter 1, Colchester 3, Cheltenham 0, Crawley 0, Oldham Athletic 3, Forest Green Rovers 1, Notts County 2, Lincoln City 1, Northampton Town 1, Macclesfield 3, Crewe Alexandra 3, MK Dons 2, Swindon Town 3, Morecambe 2, Bury 3, Newport 1, Mansfield 0, Tranmere Rovers 2, Stevenage Borough 0, and Yeovil 1, Grimsby Town 3. The Vanarama National League. Aldershot 1, Eastleigh 3, Barnet 0, Sutton United 1, Barrow 1, Bromley 1, Braintree 1, Salford City 0, Chesterfield 1, Halifax Town 0, Dover 2, Harrogate Town 3, Ebbsfleet 0, Solihull-Moors 1, Gateshead 0, Avon and Waterlooville 0, Hartlepool 1, Leyton Orient 1, Maidenhead 1, Borehamwood 0, Maidstone United 1, AFC Fylde 1, and Wrexham 1, Dagenham and Redbridge 0. into Scotland now with the Scottish FA Cup 5th round. East 5-0, Partick Thistle 1. Hibernian 3, Raith Rovers 1. Kilmarnock and Rangers is an evening kick-off, and St Mirren 1, Dundee United 2. Ladbrokes Championship 1 match, Hungerley Athletic 1, Falkirk 2. Ladbrokes League 1. Arbroath against Stranraer, that was a match of random. The score at the time was 0-0. Forfar 2, Airdrie 0. And Stenhousemuir 1, Montrose 0. League 2. Albion Rovers 0, Elgin City 3. Annan Athletic 1, Clyde 1. Berwick Rangers 1, Stirling Albion 2. Peterhead 0, Edinburgh City 0. And Queen's Park 1, Cowden Beef 1. JD Welsh Premier League 2 games. Barrytown against Ballertown, that's an evening kick-off. Llandudno 3, Carmarthen Town 1. And finally the Danske Bank Premiership, Cliftonville 1, Nearest City 0. Dungannon Swiss 1, Crusaders 0. Glenarvan 2, Ards 0. Institute 1, Ballymena 2. Linfield 3, Coleraine 2. And finally Warren Point Town 0, Glentoran 5. And the late results 1-1, it's finished there, and Newport Mansfield Town is still going on, but you would think Newport will get the result there. So Liverpool now top by 3 points, but Burnley more worryingly now sit in the bottom 3 thanks to a very lucky win for Cardiff at Southampton, a game they should have probably lost. But Burnley have got to take care of business now on their own terms. They can't keep relying on other results now to keep going their way. It's all or nothing now. I do have the all important team news. We're 10 minutes away incidentally from the kick-off here at the Amex, so this is important. This is very important right now. Big games, and this really is a big opportunity for Burnley. If they can get out, if they can win and get out the bottom 3, that would be an amazing thing. But I thought Southampton might have done us a bit more of a favour, all things considered that they robbed us of 2 points last week. But it's the way sometimes the cookie sadly crumbles. Right, anyway, let's give you the all important team news for tonight's game, because I'm sure you'll be all interested. If you weren't on my Facebook page, and a lot of you aren't, I did give people that can't usually jog on and watch us from my Facebook friends page, so sometimes I have to report to them during half and full time. That's sometimes why you hear pauses in the gaps between half time and full time, of course. But anyway, it's Matt Ryan in goal for Brighton, and then it's Montoya, Duffy, Dunk and Gitan Bong, Gross, Stevens, Proper and Sully March. And we've got Murray and Locadia further forward. I just had to pause there just to make sure that we had all 11 Brighton players there. Yes, we do. Just checking, you know. Sometimes I write my notes so hurriedly, it's unreal. Okay, so that's the situation with Brighton. The substitutes, I should also tell you that Button, Kyle, Basuma, Knockout, Jurkenbach, Bernard and Byrne are the substitutes. For the Clarets, it's Tom Heaton, Phil Bardsley, James Tarkowski, Ben Mee and Charlie Taylor. They're the back 5, of course. And then up front, and then in the midfield, it's Henrik on the right, Cork and Westwood in the centre, McNeil on the left. He's been a breath of fresh air since coming into the first team at the turn of the year. Ashley Barnes, who scored last week, and Chris Wood, his striking partner. On the bench for the Clarets, who are playing, I would have assumed, a 4-4-2 formation, Joe Hart, the goalkeeper, Ben Gibson, Peter Crouch, who came on to terrific effect, I felt, last week when the game was in the balance against Southampton, Stephen Ward, Matthias Vidra, Ashley Barnes and Chris Wood. Referee today is Stuart Atwell, so we'll hope that we don't get any appalling decisions from him today. But well, it's the Amex just about filling up here at the moment. It is a big game for all sorts of reasons. The crowd are in good voice, or they will be in good voice down there. Burnley will have brought a few thousand fans who have braved the elements and storm Eric to get down there here this afternoon. It is very blustery and very, very windy out there. The bottom 7, as I said, Burnley have 24 points, so they're 3 points off the bottom 3 of Brighton. It is annoying that Cardiff have won, really, in all fairness, because although what happened to Salah was terrible in its extremes, I thought, looking at the game, I was watching a bit of the game today, and I thought Southampton could have done a lot better, and I thought they were mighty generous on both Cardiff goals. So I think in a lot of elements Cardiff City got absolutely lucky, just a little bit like they did last week against Bournemouth, who didn't really turn up and didn't really try to make too much of a game of it. But it's going to be a tough old ask for the Clarets tonight, but a point would lift them, would lift them out the bottom 3, so it's all still very much in their favour if they can get a result. In the corresponding fixture last season, Brighton and Burnley, between the two sides, it finished 0-0. In fact, it finished 0-0 in the 2 games last season, and of course Burnley won the first fixture by 1-0. Jack Cork, or it was in fact Jack Cork's shot deflected in by James Tarkowski, winning the day for the Clarets, which sort of gave them a much needed victory back in December. We're going to take a 2-minute break. I'm going to get some lubricants because it could be a long old evening. Don't forget to rejoin me in about 5 minutes, about 2 or 3 minutes, when I reiterate the team news and bring you full match commentary of Brighton against Burnley. A warm welcome back to the Amex Stadium in Brighton. The teams have just come out. Brighton and Burnley both out. Remember, it was 0-0 here last season. Surely a repeat of that would suit Burnley down to the ground. It would get them considerably out the bottom three, but I think Sean Dyche would like a win. Burnley denied by key refereeing decisions in the last two games against Manchester United and Southampton respectively, which could have cost them 4 points extra than what they got. 2 points from the last two games. Conceivably should have been 6 from the last two games if refereeing decisions had not gone against them. But the teams are out in the tunnel. Let me reiterate the two teams for you once again. So Brighton line up as follows: Matt Ryan in goal, Montoya, Duffy, Duncan Bong across the back. Then it's Pascal Gross, Dale Stevens, then Proper and Solly March, who's a fantastic player, a very highly rated player. And then up front, Glenn Murray, who scored 2 goals in the cup victory against West Bromwich Albion, and Locadia gets the nod up front. On the bench for the Seagulls, we got David Button, Kyle, Bissouma, Knockaert, Jakombach, Bernard and Byrne. That's the Brighton team. For Burnley, it's Eaton in goal, back forward Barsley, Tarkowski, me and Taylor. This lineup of course is unchanged. Then it's Jeff Henrick, Jack Cork, Ashley Westwood and Dwight McNeil in the midfield. Henrick on the right wing, McNeil on the left, and then up front Ashley Barnes and Chris Ward. Ashley Barnes is up against his old side. On the bench quickly, Joe Hart, Ben Gibson, Peter Crouch, Stephen Ward, Matty Vidra, Kevin Long and Matt Lawton. No Goodmanson or Brady in the 18. And Stuart Atwell, I should say, to get the game underway. And Panini on straight away. Gillingham 1, Barnsley 4. It finished at the Priestfield earlier on. You might have heard that in the full classifiers. Burnley in the darker shirts. Gunners away with the... And they're going to be attacking the goal to our right. And a good early ball forward again. Up towards Westwood. Chip there towards the back post. It could be an early opportunity there. And they get the first corner of the contest. Chris Wood's attempted cross was deflected off Gitan Bong. Again, who's been the subject of some apparent racist remarks from West Brom fans. All to do with the Jay Rodriguez situation. But I heard nothing derogatory about them. Not that I condone racism in any way, shape or form. Maybe Chris Hughton just needs to concentrate on the game and let Gitan Bong just deal with it in his mind as the ball comes in towards Ben Mee. I thought for a moment had got the header in, and for a moment it looked as if it was going goal bound. It was going away as it turned out. Here's Jeff Henrick to win the next ball. Burnley starting really well here on the front foot. I'm encouraged. Henry gets the ball across and Dunk has to scramble it away for the Seagulls. Remember, they haven't won. They've only won 1 match in 10 here, Brighton, and this is probably a good time for Burnley to come down to the Amex and maybe get a result. Burnley really starting on the front foot here. The Clarets game live on a Saturday night. It's Brighton against Burnley from the Amex. A very chilly Amex, it's got to be said. I'm sure all the elements have stood up to Storm Eric. Burnley fans have got there nice and safely. And hopefully they can cheer a win for their efforts braving the elements and Storm Eric to try and hopefully do that. Here's Gitan Bong now for the Seagulls. Little chip in there. Header 1. Good header. And it's a good save. Good save. It was just from around about the right hand side of the penalty area. It was Solly March with a 3 header. That was a little bit lacklustre defending there from the Clarets. They just watched Solly March there coming in a little bit on track. They didn't watch him, I should say. He got a good header in. It was comfortable enough for Tom Heaton to just flip it over the crossbar, but a little too close for comfort perhaps. The Burnley captain wasn't happy as the corner is taken short and the chip in wide march into the penalty area looking for Proper. Ball headed out away by Tarkowski, who always wins the first and second balls, and that's another good shot from the edge of the area, and it may have actually been Proper again with the effort. Number 24 who hit it with his right foot. It was Pascal Gross in fact. He smashed in a 20-yard thunderbolt, and Tom Heaton magnificent again, and that's the 101st save that a Burnley goalkeeper's made this season, and that's Joe Hart in the first part of the season, and now Tom Heaton. And this was a great save from Tom, having to dive away to his right hand side here, proper chests it down well, gets it away from Tarkowski. There's the shot, and with both palms gets it away to safety, but only relatively, because Brighton now all of a sudden are starting to dominate things. This is a bit of a worry here for the Clarets. They can't afford to go behind in this one. They appeal handball there. Well, Gross reckons it's hands, but the referee's not interested. It definitely didn't hit Charlie Taylor on the arm whatsoever. And to be honest with you, it was only Pascal Gross who actually appealed the potential decision, but it's Brighton with a throw in here on the edge of the Burnley area, and Burnley will be happy to have the ball go their way now because they get a throw in and a potential chance here for some potential respite. It's just seeing the incident again. No, hits his thigh for me. Hits his thigh. But Pascal Gross, good chest control, good hit. It would have been a good goal, to be fair, if he'd managed to sailed in, and I don't think anyone would have complained or moaned about it. Certainly not this commentator. But Tom Heaton, he's just a course. So since he's come back into the team, it's been no surprise. Joe Hart, though, just having a bit of a laugh or two there. He's made probably about half of the 101 saves that they've made during the season so far. So still goalless here on the south coast in Sussex as the kick is hooked away by Tom Heaton. Tom hooked it forward looking for the run of Henrik. Henrik was being pulled a bit by Gitan Bong there a little bit, but the referee doesn't come away. So 3 wins and 3 draws from their last 6 Premier League games. Before today they were actually third in the Premier League form table, the Clarets, so they've got something about them at the moment. But Gross was tripped there by Ben Mee, and a free kick to Brighton on the right hand side, about 15 yards inside the Clarets half. 0-0, and it was a late challenge from Ben Mee. I don't think there's much doubt about that. Liverpool 1, Cardiff ranked a late result against Southampton. Arsenal 2-1 winners against Huddersfield Town. The massive game is to come tomorrow at Manchester United, of course, winning 3-0 at Fulham as and Burnley again got themselves in a little bit of a pickle at the back, and in the end Charlie Taylor, after all that, managed to hook it out for a free kick at a corner kick to Brighton, and they've taken the kick short, and it's back with the cross from Solly March, but it's just too much loop on it from Solly March, and behind for a goal kick. But Burnley here, a little bit all sorts of higgledy-piggledy here. Header one at the back post, easily won. And then Ben Mee, what was he thinking there? He just has to knock this away. He's under no great pressure, and Charlie Taylor bails him out there. That could have been catastrophic. Ben Mee, I'm not for the first time I've actually had a pop at, because he doesn't do the simple things right sometimes, and I don't think he did on that occasion. But anyway, didn't lead to anything. It was disastrous for the Clarets, and it remains 0-0 with 6 minutes gone at the Amex. Brighton and Hove Albion have drawn the last 5, but drawn, lost and drawn, so 3 losses and 2 draws. And Burnley have won twice and drawn the last 3. 0-0 at Watford, 2-2 at Old Trafford when it should have been a win there, thanks to Jesse Lingard's dab, and another draw against Southampton when, again, as you heard on the Clarets game last week, when Ashley Barnes was not given the most cast iron penalty you've ever seen in your life. And it was I just couldn't believe the referee that day. And well, there we go. But it's Brighton on top here at the Amex anyway, and this edition of the Clarets game live coming to you down on the south coast. 7 gone, Brighton 0, Burnley 0. Brighton have had probably the best chance so far. In fact, they have had the couple of good opportunities. Pascal Gross with a terrific 20-yard half volley, which was well repelled and tipped away by Tom Heaton in the Burnley goals. But here's Ashley Barnes, ex-Brighton, so he knows this ground like the back of his neck. And here's a chance now. Oh, is he just running on? Oh, that could have been a penalty there. I tell you what, Burnley could have had a cast iron appeal for a penalty. The referees had to stop it. It was Bong again involved. It was Bill Bardsley. I'm just wondering if Bong mistimed his challenge, because if he did, then Burnley could lay claim to a penalty here. Just looking at it again, he's overrunning a bit Basel, which doesn't help his cause. Well, I think Guitan Bong, to be fair, gets the ball. Looking at the replay now, he got the ball actually, to be fair to him, but well, Barnsley's a colossus when he falls on top of you there. Guitan Bong will not have felt the full benefit of that, I can tell you. So and we know Phil Bardsley's the toughest cookie going at the moment. He's up and on his feet okay, thankfully that's good news from a Burnley perspective. Ali Beattie just communicating with the bench. Meanwhile, Guitan Bong receiving a bit more attention from the Brighton medical staff. Chris Hughton has had plenty of things to say on the J. Rodriguez Guitan Bong thing again this week, but I have to say, I think, and there's been some journalists down here that have really been fueling the fire, and Guitan Bong will not be the most popular person in the Midlands or in Lancashire for that matter. Again, there were false. I was at the corresponding turf match last year watching it live, and there was false claims by Brighton fans and from Chris Hughton that there was some racist chanting. Now, from what I saw, and Chris Whiteman, my other colleague in the commentary box, can back me up on that, there was no sign of any monkey chanting or anything like that. And then he's gone and accused the West Brom fans exactly the same thing. He needs to shut up. He's got a good team down there at Brighton. He needs to shut up and just concentrate on what really matters out on the field. Panini says, I'm watching Fiorentina against Napoli and Bayern Munich against Schalke. Well, great games in their own rights, but they're not as appealing as this one, I'm afraid. Here's Dwight McNeil now for the Clarets to Ben Mee. And Burnley having to go back to front once again. That does frustrate me. Sean Dyche is down below me. We're so used to covering matches at the turf, we usually say on the far side, but we have to say he's down below because the benches are down below where the cameras are, and Sean Dyche will be relieved that nothing's gone past his goalkeeper at the moment. Tom Heaton's been a different class since coming back into the team. Ball's in the centre circle and it's with Tarkowski, gets it over halfway, plays it a 1-2 there with Henrik. A little bit of a heavy touch there from Tarkowski, which allowed him to go forward a little bit. Here's Cork now to get the ball forward. A draw or a win will take Burnley out of the bottom three, but with Cardiff getting a lucky victory at Southampton today, it means that the pressure's back on the Clarets, but we can't really rely on other teams trying to do us favours. We have to rely on ourselves to get there, and of course that big 6-pointer against Cardiff, we need to win this game because Spurs will be coming to Turf Moor a week today. That's a 12:30 kick-off, incidentally, live or delayed it will be on the Clarets game as we focus on Burnley's relegation battle, but we will be focusing on matters at the top as well as the bottom, as Taylor played that ball in, and well, Barnes was quite clearly taken out there. I think the referee was quite right to penalise Duffy for that. Peter Crouch is amongst the substitutes, and he's got a sausage named after him by a local Burnley butcher. The Robot Sausage, I believe it's called. If you are living in the vicinity of Burnley, go and buy it. It might be a very best seller. But here's Dwight McNeil for the Clarets, whipping one in towards the back post. He'll come out here for Henrik, who strikes it right footed, and it bounced off of the Brighton defender. The ball comes out to Bardsley. Bardsley gets the ball back, and it's back with Tom Heaton in an all green goalkeeper jersey. Plays it to Tarkowski, and now to Jet Court Robin, now to James Tarkowski, who then plays the ball back to Heaton once again. Kicks away right footed, and it's 3/4 length up the field looking towards the run of Wood and Barnes, but neither could be found, and it's with Matt Ryan, who's back from Asia Cup duty with the Australians. Matt Ryan in all yellow as opposed to Heaton's all green. Brighton of course in the blue and white stripes. 12.5 minutes gone then at the American Express Community Stadium, to give it its full title, or as everyone in sundry knows it more as the Amex. Burnley being held or holding Brighton at the moment. It's Brighton who've had the better of things at this stage of the game. There's no getting away from the truth, but the truth is that Brighton have not pierced the Burnley goal just yet. And Burnley get a free kick. Foul on Jack Cork by Glenn Murray, who's a very physical player, but he is a goal scorer. And he scored 2 against West Brom in the Cup, a very tight Cup game, which actually I thought West Brom were very unfortunate to lose. And I just wonder if Brighton will get a bit leggy as the game goes by, because they had extra time. Most of the big names were back in the bowl for that match. Even played, albeit in extra time, and they got through that game. They've got a 5th round tie here next week against Derby County. In fact, it's 2 weeks time that the Clarets match will return. The Clarets game show will return. Spurs is 2 weeks time. It's FA Cup 5th round day next week, and we'll be in South Wales next week because it's Newport County against Manchester City, the 5:30 kick-off, and will be and that'll be our featured match from one of our featured games from the FA Cup 5th round. Plus we'll also have the draw as well in due course as well. 5th round FA Cup, and our big commentary match will come from Rodney Parade in Newport for Newport against Manchester City. What a game that promises to be at Rodney Parade. A real David versus Goliath clash, that one in the FA Cup 5th round. Here's Solly March now for the Seagulls, who have to play Derby County here next Saturday lunchtime, and he gets a throw in there. Solly March off Charlie Taylor, coming up towards a quarter of an hour gone. 1-0 to Bayern Munich. Jeffrey Brumat has scored an own goal in that game. That's in the Bundesliga, incidentally. Nothing happening, I believe, in the Fiorentina-Napoli game in Serie A. But in the Premier League, our big game, the late game, Brighton Hove Albion against Burnley. And it's a throw-in taken by Brighton, but it's hooked away. Of course, Brighton with 1 winning 10 has now dragged them right into the mix. Although 1 or 2 pundits on Football Focus at the lunchtime reckon that they would be all right. I'm not sure about that, because when you get into a run of 1 winning 10, you're 3 points behind the drop zone. You're going to be looking over your shoulders a bit, as Jeff Henrick's hopeful cross from the far side was bashed out of play. It's nowhere near Wood or Barnes for that matter, and it's a throw to be taken by Montoya on the near side. Newport County against Manchester City. Well, there's going to be. I think there's going to be an opportunity here. I'm not sure Man City will go there. Absolutely sure they'll win next week. I've got a feeling that Newport, on a one-off occasion, I thought they were. You couldn't. I mean, I watched them a little bit with great interest in a pub during the week, Benini, Newport, and I thought, to a man, they were miles better than what should have been a more superior Middlesbrough team, and they just took them to shreds. So Man City beware, really, as McNeil now comes forward for the corner. Deflected off the crossbar, rebound off the bar and over from Chris Wood, or Ashley Barnes. He may have been in the 6-yard area, but Brighton very, very lucky in that, in not just one respect but 2 respects. Dwight McNeil's cross caused all the confusion here. First of all, he was untracked, gets the cross, gets a deflection off the defender, and it's Ashley Barnes against his old club, in fact, that hits the crossbar the second time, gets a deflection there off the defender, and then off the bar. It came off Duffy, I think, initially off the bar, and then Ashley Barnes from 6 yards heads against the bar and over. And somehow it remains Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Burnley 0. And Chris Hughton's team have escaped. In fact, it's a Burnley throw-in, and that will give Burnley a little bit more confidence. But should be good. It should be an interesting performance at the moment from the Clarets. They were up against it in the first part of the first half. The last 5 minutes they seem to come into it a little bit. Crystal Palace have a tough test next weekend. They go to Doncaster Rovers in the 5th round next weekend. That's going to be a tough game. And then on Monday the really big one at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea against Manchester United. This will be a real test of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's credentials as the manager. He had a good win today, in fact, in the Premier League. 3-0 against Fulham, a very poor Fulham side who, on the evidence that we saw earlier on, I saw earlier on watching most of their game, they didn't look a good side at all. So just to keep you abreast of what happened earlier on today, we'll also keep you abreast of what's happening in the Six Nations Championship. Of course, the Six Nations is back at the moment. Ireland have beaten Scotland in the early game as Barnes hits the cross into the penalty area and Chris Wood just couldn't reach it. And Burnley have had one or two glorious opportunities but haven't taken them as yet. This is Ben Mee inside the centre circle and the ball is spreading forward. We'll keep you updated with the Six Nations, and at the moment we're into the second half of that game in Rome and it's Italy 7 Wales 12. Big R has kicked 4 penalties for Wales and Stein scoring a try for Italy, which is a converted penalty I should say for Italy. So very close game there. Italy 7 Wales 12 in the rugby. Back in the football in the Premier League, McNeil with a free kick on the near side for the Clarets. 19.5 minutes gone. Header on towards Chris Wood, but it's nodded away by Brighton. It was Dunk I think got it away there for the Seagulls. The Clarets still trying to keep it going. It's Ashley Barnes again involved. He'll play against one or two of the current squad, Lewis Dunk and Shane Duffy in particular. These days here at the Amex. Brighton sold him for a mere, I think it was £250,000 in January of 2014. This is his 5th year at the club, Ashley Barnes, and he's been a bit of a cult hero. Burnley's all-time Premier League goal scorer, and it's been an absolute colossus for the Clarets. He's joining. Scored one of the goals incidentally which won them promotion on that emotional day against Wigan. Michael Catley I think got the other one to put the seal on what was a great day for Burnley Football Club against every conceivable odds, having sold Charlie Austin 3 days before the start of that season as well. 4 points against Blackburn Rovers, including the first win at Ewood Park for 35 years. Happy days they were. Burnley went down the next season bravely, came back the next season, won the championship with and one of the games was a controversial game here at the Amex when Barton and Kyle had their coming together. The ghost goal that should have counted from Michael Keane, and then it turned out to be the equaliser. And a certain commentator who works for Burnley Football Club said it was justice. Well, let's see if there's any justice to be done here this afternoon, or this evening rather, as Taylor takes the ball down on the left hand side, but it's won back by Gross, Pascal Gross that is, and here's the ball comes to Westwood. Westwood on turn to Henrik. Now then, big opportunity here for Henrik to size up across inside the penalty area, and it's hooked behind for a goal kick. So do a little deflection. It just comes to Barnes a little bit quicker than I think he thought it was, and there was a bit of frustration there in Ashley's face. But Sean Dyche just clapping there. I'm just noticing. That's more like it, lads. He's saying. Well, that's what I'm trying to lead anyway. What he might have said. Might have been saying completely something different from what I'm predicted. As Matt Ryan kicks the ball away now down the field for Brighton, cuts only as far as halfway. Conditions here not favourable, but still the players are trying to make a good game out of this, which is what we want to see. Above all, as Lewis Dunk and Shane Duffy battle on. I should also tell you that both teams are wearing black armbands in memory of Massimiliano Sala, who was actually sadly was found dead at the crash scene. They found his body just 2 days ago, and that was a sad moment, really. Found out about what happened yesterday morning. Sad news to wake up to. Anyway, we're halfway through the first half then, and it's Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Burnley 0, in a big 6-pointer, because if Burnley win this game, then Brighton could be in desperate trouble themselves. They'd only be, let's say, if they're starting the day 3 points off the bottom 3, so they're not out of the woods yet. Brighton 14th place they started, but a win for Burnley here will move down 3 points away from it all. And Brighton do not face an opposition currently in the top half of the table. As I said, Burnley, Leicester, Huddersfield, Crystal Palace, Cardiff and Southampton, as Burnley come charging forward. And we'll pick up on what Panini said in a moment, because we've got Brighton on the attack here, and the ball played across, and it's Solly Marsh inside the area. Solly Marsh shoots, and another fantastic save from Tom Eaton. Solly Marsh already scored there, and he got a good left-footed shot off just to the right of the penalty spot. But Tom Eaton again, lightning quick reactions. 32 years young. He's very sprightly for 32. Tom Eaton cuts inside. He beat Tarkowski there, Solly Marsh. Very highly rated player, incidentally, Solly Marsh, and looks as if he scored there. The only criticism of the shot maybe was it was straight at Tom Eaton, but having said that though, Tom Eaton made a marvellous save. Fiorentina and Napoli in Serie A, incidentally, are at half time. 24.5 minutes gone. The ball lifted in there towards the Clarets penalty area. Burnley now just got to get a decision, but they can't have any respite at the moment because Brighton are all over them like flies at the moment. Now the ball's cleared away. Oh my goodness me. Real edge of the seat stuff here at the Amex. 0-0. And you're all welcome to comment in the comment section on the right hand side of the screen. Your comments will be read. And of course JB MLTM will be back. Russ is, oh now then, a chance here now, and it's one, he's in the clear. Chris Wood for Burnley, 1-0 Clarets, first shot on target, and Chris Wood absolutely slammed it in from around about the penalty spot area, and those missed chances from Solly March have come back to haunt Brighton and Hove Albion. 25 minutes gone at the Amex. It's Brighton and Hove Albion 0. Burnley won, a mistake by Lewis Dunk at the back, and the Clarets took advantage and profited big time. The ball was hooked forward. This Dunk has slipped here, and this put Brighton in trouble. And with the trusty right foot, the New Zealand captain Chris Wood, from a long ball from Barnes, there was the slip from Dunk, and he just slams it past the Australian Matt Ryan. And Brighton are in bother here at the Amex, and the Clarets, as things stand, are heading out of the bottom 3, and Brighton, if it stays this way, are heading into deep trouble at the bottom of the Premier League table. The plot thickens in this relegation battle. Wood now goes to 5 goals in the league this season, and what a crucial goal. It's 4 goals in 7 league games for him. And what a priceless goal. It's Brighton Hove Albion 0, Burnley 1, and Burnley have got something to defend here now. Wow. Big moment in the relegation scrap. Chris Hughton's side are in trouble. Deep trouble. Paul Trollope is there with him, his faithful assistant there of Chris Hughton, but Chris Wood, what a finish. He just couldn't have hit that any sweetly. Burnley have had a bit of luck maybe, but boy are they deserving of that luck. But they've got a free kick to defend here, and Tarkowski's not happy. Ricardio's won the free kick. Let's have a look. Oh, he went down a bit too easily there. It's players like him are going to do football a disservice and make it a non-contact sport. It's a very, very fortuitous free kick that Brighton have got there. But Burnley must defend it now. They've got a lead to protect. And the one thing they mustn't do is let Burnley let them concede a free kick from the ball into the penalty area. 1-1. It's the scoreline at Bayern Munich as McNeil tries to clip the ball clear. There's a little sort of a scramble here, and Burnley must hook it out. And in fact, they've got a free kick out, have they? Oh, just for a moment. No, it's a free kick. And there's a player down, and I'm figuring it's Dwight McNeil that's gone down there. And if it is McNeil, this could be a bit of a worry. McNeil battling hard. Oh dear, that studs in the back of his. Well, that should be a booking then. Who did this? I don't know who did this. It's Duffy. High foot, yellow card. It's a yellow card offence. Duffy should be going in the book for me. You can't do that. I'm sorry, but that's a high foot. You shouldn't. I'm sorry, I'm not. Duffy should be in the book anyway. McNeil's a tough competitor, and he'll get on with it. Ali Beattie down there again. He's having to work a little bit overtime today, Ali Beattie. This is the incident again. Bayern Munich have scored again, incidentally, in the game. Lewandowski has scored, but that, for me, that's a yellow card offence against Shane Duffy. It's got to be a yellow card against Duffy. It has to be. But it's at the end of the day, still Burnley get the decision. And Tom Heaton now will kick clear, and the referee Atwell, who should have booked Duffy for that incident, waves Dwight McNeil back on. And all's well in their world again. Chris Wood, the goal scorer after 26 minutes, has given Burnley a priceless lead. Ahmed had scored the equaliser for Schalke, and then all of a sudden at the other end Lewandowski scored. So 2-1 is in Munich, 0-0 in the Fiorentina match. But at the moment it's 1-0 to Burnley, and this really is a Clarets game and a half live now for you. Don't forget, we'll be taking a 10-minute break where I'll compile my match report for Facebook. My half-time report for Facebook is Dwight McNeil comes down the line, and this could be a real problem here for Brighton as the ball is pulled back, and it's almost an own goal there. Still Stevens this time. Burnley are really on course here at the moment. Half an hour gone here, and Burnley here taking it to Brighton all of a sudden. This is turning into a good afternoon work here for the Clarets. Italy 10, Wales 12 in the Six Nations Championship. Earlier on today, Ireland beat Scotland and recovered from that devastating defeat in Dublin against England last week. England and France play tomorrow as Westwood crosses it. Oh, and another chance inside the 6-yard box. Tarkowski came in, and also Duncan Court went for a ball as well, and behind for a Brighton goal kick. Let's have a look at it again on replay. Ball comes in, Ryan's nowhere near, and Tarkowski within about half an inch of getting ahead on that, and maybe possibly making it 2-0 to the Clarets. Oh my goodness me, since the goal they've really taken it up a gear here, Burnley. And this is good news for the Clarets, because this really gets in. This really is turning into some game here. It's now 17-10 in the Six Nations. Wales have just gone over for their first try of the match. They're into the second half, incidentally, in that Six Nations Championship game. As I said before, then England and France meet tomorrow in fact at Twickenham. Funnily enough, kick-off I think that one is 3 o'clock, and that should be some game down there at Twickenham, or up at Twickenham tomorrow afternoon. England Wales World Cup year, and it's always important really to have a good Six Nations under your belt if you're a Northern Hemisphere rugby side. Here's Ben Mee now for the Clarets, 1 goal ahead. 26 minutes, the goal was timed by Chris Wood, and here's Ashley Barnes on the break on the left hand side. He's done really well. He's played it into Westwood. Good turn here, and a chance here for Burnley. There's a man over, real opportunity here, cross back, and it's straight into the arms of the goalkeeper. Poor cross really from Bartley when well positioned, but Ashley Barnes Chris Wood making the opportunity. Then Henrik had a go. Bardsley here too close to the goalkeeper, should have pulled the ball back a little bit more there, Phil Bardsley, but the run was a positive one from the right back. JB Claret YouTube channel, coming to you live from the Amex Stadium. Premier League football, and Burnley are winning. They've hit the crossbar a couple of times. Solly March and Pascal Gross have come close for Brighton as well. It's been an even sort of contest really, with one team not really dominating things. It's to and fro, but Burnley have scored the important goal. A mistake really, or slip up by Lewis Dunk, has put Brighton in big peril here, because they started the day, remember, 3 points above the relegation zone, and as things stand they will be looking over their shoulders with Cardiff winning and Burnley at the moment winning. They're going out the bottom three at the moment, the Clarets, as things stand, but here comes Lacadia for Cardiff, for Brighton I should say. This is Yitan Bong, and Bong now looking to dig out a cross, but Jeff Emerick sticking to him like super glue, and his cross was poor, and Tom Eaton at these near posts said thank you very much, I'll take that, and we'll ease the pressure somewhat now as we head towards the final 11 minutes of what's been a very enthralling and very interesting first half here at the Amex Stadium. Brighton Hove Albion 0, Burnley 1. Great news here coming from Sussex, and really it has been a great performance from the Clarets. Very dogged. Shot coming in, and it was Barnes with a left-footed shot from the wall of 25 yards. I'd almost caught Matt Ryan on the hop there. Burnley not afraid here to shoot onside at any conceivable opportunity. Matt Ryan made a bit of a mess there, patting it down, but there was nobody within a 10-yard radius or a 10-yard vicinity of him for him to have that mistake punished upon. As it happens now, Burnley have got a throw in to defend here at the other end of the field, because it's taken quickly in towards Solly March. March now playing the ball back, and it's with number 22 now. Montoya back to Gross, gets the cross in, danger here, and it's just wide from Glenn Murray inside the penalty area. I think it might have got a deflection, in fact. No, it didn't. It was a goal kick. And this is the save again from Tom Eaton. He smashed that with all his might. March from the edge of the penalty spot. But this is the goal again from about the same distance where March had his shot saved, and Chris Wood belting the ball home. Vanini has also told me that the Wales try has been converted by Dan Beggar, so Italy 10, Wales 19 in the Six Nations Championship in Rome, as the ball is threaded forward by Burnley. Not often you hear Rome and Burnley in the same sentence on commentary. There's a collector's item for you. Here's Solly March now for Brighton, who'll be ruining that missed chance a moment or two before Wood scored. And here's Pascal Gross, chips the ball in there, hoping to get the ball on the head of Glenn Murray. It comes to Yitan Bong. Yitan Bong keeps the ball in play, but Brighton, they go down. He went down in instalments, and Stuart Atwell, not 5 yards away, said get up and get on with the game. And when you go down in instalments looking for a penalty, you run the risk of not having a penalty given. Never a penalty. He's even tripped over himself there proper, and you can't give a penalty for that. He's tripped over himself. He goes down in instalments. Westwood's nowhere near him. No penalty. Simple. Good decision by the referee. Lacadia though for Brighton. He's giving that away. And Burnley will be happy if they keep giving the ball away in that final third, Brighton, because that will suit Burnley right down to the ground at this moment in time as we go into the last 8 minutes of the first half. So Southampton 1, Cardiff 2. That was an annoyance. Westwood is injured, by the way. Watford 1, 10-man Everton 0. Everton on an horrendous run now under Marco Silva. The early game saw Fulham lose quite comprehensively 3-0 to Manchester United. Liverpool back on top, beating Bournemouth 3-0. Arsenal winning at Huddersfield, so that will release the pressure somewhat. Crystal Palace with a crucial goal, an equaliser against West Ham United. So big point that for Palace. And really, Marco Silva now on borrowed time. If you're an Everton fan, it's tough times on Merseyside at the moment, but it's tough times for Brighton, losing 1-0 to the Clarets as Solly March tries to make up for that mistake, that missed opportunity. The ball comes back in, and again some great defending there. First of all, I think it was Tarkowski. I think Bardsley got in the way there. Could have left it to his goalkeeper conceivably, but Bardsley just couldn't take the risk. It does frustrate me sometimes when Bardsley does that, because you don't know what is going to happen next. But you can't blame him for trying to throw himself in the way of the shot. As long as it's legal on a above ball and he doesn't handle the ball, then I'm all for it. Burnley really throwing bodies on the line, protecting this one goal advantage given to them in the 26th minute from Wood, crossing from the right hand side, the Brighton right, but it comes to Henrik. Henrik comes forward. Looks as if Westwood is okay. He picked up an injury, but Ali Beattie said he's good to go and play on. As Barnes battles for it, he goes down. The referee was in a good position but didn't give anything. The ball is now hushed back to Matt Ryan in the Brighton and Hove Albion goals, and now Brighton tries to start an attack on the left hand side with Gitan Bong to Locadia, back to Bong again, back in seal to Proper. Brighton in a proper heap of trouble here. If they lose this game, they are in the relegation dogfight. I don't think there's much else to be said than that. Cork to win the next ball, then the ball hooked forward, looking towards the run of Ashley Barnes there, but the ball knocked away, and here come Brighton now, looking to this equaliser with Solly March. March now towards the area, Tarkowski and Taylor tracking him all the way. Taylor tracked him all the way, and he reckons it's a goal kick. Well, Brighton have got the decision, and I've got to be honest, I would like to see a replay. This is the incident again. Burnley are saying it's a goal kick. Let's see if it comes off Solly March fast. Yes, it does. That should be a goal kick. The linesman and the referee and the officials have got that one wrong. Now I wonder if the linesman sends something that the referee hasn't, because I'm sure that the referee can overrule the linesman here, and I think he has overruled the officials. It's a goal kick, and I think that was the right decision. It clearly came off Solly March. Well done, referee. The linesman got it. I think the linesman actually spotted it. Yeah, I thought it came off Solly March there on the first replay from behind the goal, and I think the referee thought it was a corner. He must have been blindside Stuart Atwell, in all fairness to him. But having said that, well done the linesman, because that must not have been an easy decision there. You give a corner, but I think he's been overruled there. I honestly think the linesman may have seen something, or Stuart Atwell may have seen something that anyone else didn't. So fair play to whoever made that decision. 5 to go to half time. Brighton Hove Albion 0, Burnley 1. Oh, it's an edgy game this though. It could still go either way at this point. Burnley could do with that second goal as a little bit more of security and an insurance policy, if you like. But here's Gitan Bong now down the left hand side for Brighton. Gets it over halfway to Locadia, still on the left hand side. And now Locadia looks to go in field here. Looks to hit a ball across towards the right hand side. Solly Marsh wanted it. First touch was a little heavy. Allowed Charlie Taylor in to win the ball and get it away for Burnley. Finds Dwight McNeil. Gets it down the left hand channel. That'll be Duffy's to hook away. And Burnley will win the next ball quite comfortably, looking for the run of Ashley Barnes, but the ball threaded back now by Lewis Dunk to Matt Ryan. 1-0 to Burnley. It's still 10 points to 19. So Italy 10, Wales 19 I should say, in the Six Nations Championship. 4 minutes to go to half time, plus any additional time that the fourth official will want to add on at the end of what's been a really interesting first half, where the game has swung to and fro, but the pendulum has swung in Burnley's direction at the moment, and maybe for once a victory could well be in sight, as Ben Mean leaps to win the ball, but he's beaten to it by the big muscular Glenn Murray. The ball now on halfway line. Gitan Bong picks the ball up. Burnley on course for a league double at the moment as things stand against the Seagulls. But here's Locadia looking to get a crossing from the left hand side. Oh, that's a poor ball, but it still falls for Brighton. It's Solly March again. He looks an absolute threat today. He's been far Brighton's best player by none, and the ball hooked away. Chris Wood will hook it away for the Clarets. 3 minutes plus stoppage time to go. Brighton now coming forward here with Lewis Dunk of all people. Plays it towards Locadia on the far side. A little flick in and a chance at the back post, and it's somehow kept out again by the brilliant Tom Eaton down the way to his right at full strength. Pascal Gross with another fabulous effort from his point of view. I've got to be honest, I thought that was the equaliser. Volleys it goalwards, and in fact it was going towards Glenn Murray, and Tom Eaton getting the smearest of fingertips, just got it out for a corner, but the danger is not over yet. Brighton have been a little bit unfortunate, in fairness to them, as the ball comes into the penalty area and it's sucked out for a throw-in, and it's going to be Brighton again with a throw. So we've got about 2 minutes plus stoppage time to go. It's going to be probably the longest 2 minutes plus stoppage time in the first half that Burnley have had to endure all season long. Brighton have gone at him a little bit now as we go to the closing stages. Here's Solly March again. He has been a colossus as the ball comes in, and Bill Barsley now. Oh, he's dawdled on it a little bit, but then he's got a chance here to recover, and he just boots it away as far as the field as he could. He got it towards halfway, in fairness to him. And Lancashire here again, but it's hooked away now by James Tarkowski. Burnley winning 1-0 against Brighton. Big game here, but a free kick given against Tarkowski, who looks inquisitively. Glenn Murray is claiming that he's been hurt. I think he's play acting, quite honestly. I'd like to see a replay, how much contact there was with James Tarkowski, and Stuart Atwell's having a word with Tarkowski. I think it's no more than that. It's definitely it's a free kick to Brighton. Let's have a look. He's trying to use his leverage. He's accidentally barged him over, and I think Glenn Murray, he's hardly touched him at all, and I think Murray makes a bit of a meal of it, just like he did last season when he got a penalty ordered in his favour for a dive. And Murray's got that harsh streak in him, but it's a free kick midway inside the Burnley half, just to the right. It's about 30 yards from goal, so still a chance for Burnley to clear, but this is a big moment in the game, and Solly March is going to take it. No, it's not going to be March. He's playing into the penalty area, and the header has gone over the top. It was from, I think it might have been Murray. He knows that was a good chance there. I think it came off Tarkowski last. Let's have a look on the replay. Just having a look. Well, hard to tell from there. This is I'm just seeing a more telling angle. Might have just brushed off Tarkowski's head last then. And the torment for Burnley is not over yet. 10 seconds with normal time to play. And I would assume it will be only at least a minute or two at the end of the first half. As the header comes in, it's off the line. Oh, how Burnley are not being pegged back there, I will never know. Gross trying to play the ball in from the right hand side, and somehow Burnley have got it out, and it was Jeff Henrick on the goal line there, the hero for the Clarets. Burnley holding on a little bit, and 2 added minutes as the plot thickens towards the end of the first half as Guy Tambon gets the ball in. Tarkowski rather spectacularly gets the header away. Burnley very, very fortunate to still be ahead in some respects, but my goodness, are they having some of the luck on their side or what? It was a good header. I couldn't tell who it was there on replay, but free kick inside the centre circle to Burnley, just inside their own half on Ashley Barnes, and that just takes a little bit of the heat off now as we go into the last 70 or 80 seconds of the first half of the stoppages. So, well, this is the opportunity again. 2 Brighton boys went to the table. I think it might have been Lewis Dunk, in fact. Was it Dunk? Yes, it might have been, you know. Henrik got it off the line. In fact, it wasn't. It was actually Duffy. Duffy with the header, point blank, almost making up for his mistake in earlier on. And Jeff Henrik, what a man. And that's the value of having 2 men on either posts. You've got to say that was well defended by the Clarets as they've got a free kick now, which they launch towards the far side, and it's or the near side, and it's Barnes now to the near side corner flag, deep inside Brighton territory. They get a throw in. 30 seconds of the stoppage time to go at the end of the first half. We'll be taking our customary 10-minute break. Incidentally, Charlie Taylor to take the throw in here for the Clarets. 15 to go, the stoppages, and another throw off Solly March this time. Wow, first half's goal. This has been an incredible one. Burnley have probably used up half their 9 lives. I will have to say that. We played the 2 minutes. Surely Mr. Atwell will blow up for time, and indeed he does. So Burnley, some good news here from the Amex at the moment. If you're a Burnley fan, Burnley are leading. A 26-minute goal from Chris Wood is the difference between the two sides, but Burnley have also hit the crossbar twice in the same move, Sonny March has forced Tom Eaton into a fantastic save, and then Eaton had to make 2 further magnificent saves to deny Pascal Gross a couple of times, and then right at the end Duffy looked as if he'd equalised and made up for his error on the Wood goal, but the ball was kicked off the line heroically there by Jeff Henrik, and that is the situation at the Amex at half time. We're going to take a 10-minute break. Be sure to join me for the second half of this Clarets game live, with the scoreline reading Burnley, Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Burnley 1. Welcome back to the Amex Stadium, everybody, and no alterations at half time as the second half about to reconvene. Well, that was a bit close for comfort if you were a Burnley fan, as Chris Hughton just returns outside the tunnel here. The rain is now seaming down at the Amex, and this second half is going to be a real nip and tuck sort of a thing. If it's anything like it was in the first half, we could be in for a real nail-biting sort of 45 minutes ahead as Brighton get us underway in the striped shirts. It's blue and white stripes, Burnley in the old dark strip. Let's remind you of the teams. It's Matt Ryan in goal, and it's Guitan Bong, Lewis Dunk, Shane Duffy and Montoya across the back. Stevens, Proper, Gross and Lacardia with Glenn Murray up front, and Solly March, of course, who's been a colossus on the right hand side, caused Burnley one or two problems. Burnley line up with Tom Heaton in goal, and then it's a back four of Bardsley, Tarkowski, me and Taylor, Henrik on the right with Cork and Westwood in the centre of the midfield, and then it's McNeil, Barnes and Wood. Six Nations score at the moment. We have it as, or Panini has it as, Italy 15, Wales 26 at the moment, as the Amex is teeming down with rain. It is bitterly cold. It's probably feeling the effects of Storm Eric. One or two Brighton fans putting some plastic raincoats on to protect them from some very nasty elements out there, I'm sure. As the ball is flicked on by Tarkowski, I think, and it's straight into the arms of Matt Ryan. It wasn't a great kick, in fact. Went straight to Phil Bardsley, who's giving it straight away to Brighton. So no changes from either side as the second half reconvenes. Burnley winning for a 26-minute goal by Chris Wood, and Chris Wood is the man who scored the goal for the Clarets this afternoon in an all dark strip, remember, as Montoya gets the ball forward, looks to pick out Guitan Bong, and that might beat Guitan Bong out of play. Indeed it does. Referee, just to reconfirm, is Stuart Atwell. And already a substitution. Anthony Knockaert is about to come on, so Brighton obviously not happy the way that started, unless Solly March has got some sort of a problem, because up until then he was playing really well. It looks as if Solly March will not continue, and Anthony Knockaert, who in that championship match a couple of years ago between the two sides in that 2-all draw, the famous Justice game that Phil Bird refers to, for 45 minutes or so really ripped Burnley to shreds, and could have gone either. It could have gone Brighton's way in the end. It was a promotion battle. It was a promotion 6-pointer, I remember, and that goal from Keane in the third minute of stoppage time was a massive goal in Burnley season, and it was one of the crucial moments that helped Burnley to win the Lady back in 2016, nearly 3 years ago now. That 23 undefeated run doesn't seem all that long ago since we were witnessing that performance. But Burnley have had some great days since those days as well. 7th place last season, and I was 6 unbeaten going into this game, as Guitan Bong chips a testing one. Heaton decides to claw away. Maybe that wasn't the best decision that Tom has made all the game, as the ball is chipped into the penalty area. Bardsley hooks it out from almost underneath his goal line, definitely deep inside his own 6-yard box, and Bong takes possession again on the left hand side here for Brighton. Looking to take on Dwight McNeil, has just drifted to the right hand side for Burnley here a little bit in this opening exchanges of the second half. Ball hits Ashley Barnes, and now the ball hoisted forward towards Ashley Barnes. He's on a bit of a leg run here against Lewis Dunk, but Dunk wins the race and gets the ball back to Matt Ryan in the Brighton goals. Now the ball knocked forward, and it's going to be Stevens to pick it up for Brighton inside the midfield area, and the ball out towards the far side. It's Burnley leading Brighton by 1-0 here at the Amex Stadium. The ball gets chipped, or gets deflected away off Charlie Taylor, and it was Knockaert who crossed it in, and it's a corner to the Seagulls. 1-0 to the Clarets, but it's Knockaert to take the corner for Brighton. Burnley have got to be on their mettle defensively. Full-time score, Italy 15, Wales 26 in the rugby, as the ball is spreaded in by Knockaert, but it's knocked behind by Dwight McNeil for another Brighton corner, second in succession. Burnley do make a bit of a habit of conceding consecutive corners. Maybe it's a decent habit to have, but they can't be affording to make too many of those. Here's Pascal Gross with the corner on the left hand side, and near side as we look. Brighton attacking the goal to our left, Burnley to the right, as Gross, right footed, sends the ball towards the edge of the 6-yard box, comes to the edge of the area. Good tackle there, nothing wrong with that tackle whatsoever. I'm not sure how many Brighton players tried to appeal for a penalty, but I don't think there were too many. And the ball ushered back to Matt Ryan at the right hand there. Burnley incidentally attacking the end where all their supporters are based. All nearly 2,000 of them are congregated behind. We've had 5 minutes of the second half. Brighton 0, Burnley 1 in the Premier League. Burnley would be 15th as things stand at present with a victory this afternoon. They started it down 24 points. They could move up as far as 27 points, and in fact move on level with points with Brighton and Hove Albion by coincidence. So this really is that's a good tackle there from Ashley Barnes. I'm not sure what they're trying to do there. I mean, he's looking for that to me there, Knockaert. And then the effort. Yeah, Knockaert is, yeah, it's a good tackle there from Ashley there. Nothing wrong, but it's a free kick to Brighton from the far side, headed away, but only as far as Gitan Bong. Bong trying to win that and headed forward. And here's Tarkowski, who ushers the Brighton man out the way, which was Lewis Dunk. So two number 5s battling against each other, and the Burnley one comes out on top against the Brighton one. As Chris Hughton consumes some more chewing gum to calm the nerves down on the benches. It's absolutely pouring down with heavy rain here in Sussex. Brighton at home and away, 5 wins at home, 2 is compared to 2 wins, so 7 results all season. 19 points they gained at home, plus another 8 at the Amex, so making a grand total of 27 points. As the ball bounces very kindly for Chris Wood, but the chest control was a little bit on the heavy side, and the ball races out of play for a throw-in on the near side of Brighton, taken by Gitan Bong at the left back, and then the ball hooked forward, but only as far as Bardsley going on a sortie with a deflection on the ball forward. It fell for Barnes, but he couldn't read Chris Wood's wavelength there with his run, and the ball comes out of play, and it's a goal kick for Brighton. 52 minutes gone. We've had 7 minutes of the second half. It's going to be a long second half, this, guys, if you're a Claret Blue persuasion. But Glenn Murray really hasn't had a proper massive opportunity yet. It's basically been Pascal Gross and Solly March that have been causing a lot of the problems, but Solly March now is off the field, but Anthony Knockaert is a totally different proposition, and he is a fantastic winger. His wing play is phenomenal, so Burnley have got to watch him like a hawk, and also I've got to watch the likes of Glenn Murray and all that lot. So Brighton have made that substitution. Remember, we don't know what the extent of Solly March's problem is, and I'm sure we'll find out at some course during this evening. Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Burnley 1. Knockaert's cross was a poor one from the right hand side, and it's hooked out for Burnley throwing on the far, for Brighton throwing on the far side by the Clarets. 1-0. It's an edgy feel to the game, but Burnley, if they can hang on here and get a result at the Amex, a big result it could well be in the context of both the destiny of both teams' season. For Burnley, it would be a huge shot in the arm for them, and a little bit of justice really after 2 wins that should have been given to Burnley. That should have been 3-point bankers for the Burnley against Manchester United and Southampton. Were cruelly taken away from them, but this really is a great workmanlike performance, and if they do hang on and get the result, more power to them. But it's Brighton now trying to break forward here, looking for something here as David Proper plays the ball forward, but it's knocked it out once again by Phil Bardsley, whose never say die attitude is there for all to see. 54 minutes gone, 9 minutes of the second half. It's Brighton 0, Burnley 1 at the Amex Stadium in Sussex, as the ball comes forward into the Burnley penalty area once again. Brighton laying siege to this Burnley goal, and it's Davy Proper now chipping the ball in. The ball threaded forward, a little flick on towards Murray, but Ben Mee read the situation, but it comes to Dale Stevens out to the far side, and again Knockout trying to work some magic out on the far side. Stevens again with a cross from the right, headed away again by Ben Mee. Good standing position there. Had to header it away from a standing position, I should say, and Ned Taylor prevents a corner and takes a throw in instead and get for Brighton. Burnley on the south coast this season. I've only had one trip down there this season. That was to Southampton on the opening weekend of the season, the opening Sunday of the season. They should have won that game, and no, it was a rip-roaring second half. In fact, Burnley should have won that game. They had the best chances, although Southampton came strong towards the end of that game. And Joe Hart had to make a series of good saves in the final 10 minutes, you may remember. But well, I've just seen Sean Dyche and Ian Whelm talking tactics, and I'm saying the same from Chris Hughton and Paul Trollope, former Bristol Rovers manager, of course. Touted one of the best young managers of the future 10 years ago, Trollope, but he's now the assistant to a very decent manager in Chris Hughton, but he's having a tough time here. Brighton. A defeat would move them away, would move them closer to danger, because Burnley's victory now would tighten things up even more at the bottom, and no fewer than 6 or 7 clubs here could be involved in this relegation battle, including these two that we're seeing here now in this game at the Amex. Brighton 0, Burnley 1. Burnley are hanging on in there. It's Proper now for Brighton. Back to Lewis Dunk, now Proper again. The Seagulls trying to attack the Clarets. Lancashire now, who hasn't scored many goals for Brighton since his transfer. Free kick against the striker, the big striker, and it's a free kick to Burnley. 11.5 minutes almost gone in the second half. A 26-minute goal from Chrissy Wood is proving the real difference here at the moment. And Heaton saying, that's mine, I'm going to take this. I've spotted Wood and Barnsberger forward. The ball won't break though to McNeil. It might break through McNeil now. He's gone over to the right, McNeil, and looks like Henrik has drifted out to the left, so they've swapped blanks, both McNeil and Jeff Henrik, the Irishman. And here come Brighton now looking to hit back. This is Montoya chipping it forward. A little bit of space here for Lancashire. Lancashire's got Guy Tambong away down to his left hand side by the byline. Guy Tambong with a chance to measure a cross in, but it's a poor cross off the back of the defender there, which is Phil Bardsley. It's a corner for Brighton, and Burnley now just got to defend the set plays. Remember, in the rugby it's Italy 15, Wales 26, so Wales getting 2 wins out of 2. Over to you, England, they're saying, for tomorrow. Scotland were beaten earlier by Ireland at Murrayfield. Here's Gross with the corner here at the Amex, into the 6-yard box. Again a good fist away, this time from Tom Heaton, but it's going to be hooked back in there again. Chances again now for the cross to come in. It's Proper with the cross into the penalty area. Comes to Gross on the edge of the area. Gross tries to bend one in, and it's over the top, and relief for the Clarets. For old Clarets listed it in, and in the stadium it's behind for a goal kick. But Burnley there just a little bit slow to react there. The cross came to Gross, who can smash them in from just inside the area. We've seen him score screamers from outside the box in the past. Tom Heaton having words or two with the referee. I'm not sure if it's to do with the time wasting. Burnley are entitled, I suppose, with the lead they've earned, to do a bit of time wasting, but sometimes though it's not beneficial. Just get on with the game. But having said all that, Burnley hanging in there, and they're frustrating Brighton, and that's what they want to do. 1,000 or so Burnley fans here enjoying their trip down to Sussex, having to brave that very nasty storm Eric, which has caused all sorts of disruption and all sorts of problems. I couldn't sleep because of it, because of the storm howling in there. I refer to it as Storm Eric Pollard in reference to the Emmerdale character. As we come up towards almost an hour gone here at the Amex, we're beaming this game, commentary of this game, not just around the UK but around the world too. So any people abroad tuning in, give it a shout out. Panini is still listening in. Goal for Bayern Munich. Serge Gnabry has made it 3-1 now against Schalke. Looks like the points are staying at the Allianz Arena. At the moment, the points could be moving away from the Amex. And here's Jeff Emery to bring it out for Burnley. Just ran it a little bit, but the ball was cleared, but Tarkowski now just calmly gets it out to the right hand side, and it's Dwight McNeil. McNeil's not scared to take people on, and he's not scared to have a pop either with his left foot, but it's deflected away by a Brighton defender. And now it's Brighton's turn to come forward as we head towards an hour gone. We're coming up towards the quarter of an hour mark of the second half, and it's Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Burnley 1 here at the Amex, and the referee has blown for an infringement or an offside, which is frustrating Messrs Trollope and Houghton here. I think it's gone out of play for a throw-in. I didn't actually see the ball go out of play for a throw-in. I must have taken my eye off the ball for a second or two. We've played an hour, mind you, and it's 1-0. And Burnley holding firm at the moment. I don't think there's much doubt about that. They're not going to go without a fight here, Burnley. Brighton are still attacking, and all fair credit to them as me cuts that up and Taylor just keeps it in, but gets it only as far as the halfway line. And Brighton now have a chance to go forward here. The ball has been kept in play. Taylor battles in there and gets a foot in, again gets it up into the Brighton half, albeit only 5 yards inside the Brighton half. Earlier today, Liverpool 3, Bournemouth 0. Liverpool go top. Arsenal 1-2-1 against Huddersfield. Palace and West Ham shared the spoils. Southampton 1, Cardiff City 2. A real bad result that for Southampton. Cardiff very lucky though, in my opinion. Watford beat 10-man Everton by a goal to 0. Everton on a bad run, but this is McNeil now, and a chance now on the far side. It's into the corner from Wood again, and Burnley double their lead on the counter-attack. It's 2-0 to the Clarets. 62 minutes on the clock, and the points could be heading back from Sussex to Lancashire. Brighton and Hove Albion now. Burnley 2. What an evening on the South Coast for the Clarets. Chris Wood had the double. 6 goals of the season for him. And this is turning into a remarkable game of football here at the Amex Stadium. McNeil getting the ball from halfway, and then he plays it out to Wood, and no one left Wood there. Matt Ryan got a hand on it, couldn't keep it out, and Burnley have that extra bit of security, that extra insurance policy, and now have a 2-goal buffer. And the ball just bounces unkindly in front of Ryan's hand, but very kindly for Tom Eaton and his Burnley side, and Chris Wood in particular. It's 2-0 to the Clarets down in Sussex, and look what it means to them. And also else with the goal difference a little bit, because wow, as I said, 6 goals this season, and that could be a very crucial blow. Now remember now this will be interesting in what Brighton do. Remember, Manchester United were 2 goals down, but then had to revert to cheating to get a result against, or to get a leveler against Burnley. I wonder what Chris Hughton will try now. But the good news is it's 2-0 to the Clarets, and that is the important thing. The Burnley fans have brave Storm Eric. I think it's been well worth it. Some of them have turned out without coats, just hoodies and a Burnley shirt. Now, their record signing for Brighton, Jakenbach, is now going to come on. So Hughton has been forced into a change. Solly Marsh went off with, I presume, an injury or some kind of problem. But he's preparing a double substitution because Bissouma, number 8, is about to enter the fray too. Paul Troll reading the final instructions to both of those. He's Chris Hughton's assistant, as Gitan Bong can't keep the ball in play. And what a moment this could be. Sean Dyche's men on the cusp of a huge famous victory. They don't win too many games down here at Brighton, but my goodness me, they're on for a victory here now. And if they can just keep in front now for the rest of the game, whatever Brighton throw at them, maybe the luck is going with Burnley at the moment. At the moment it's 7 unbeaten, 4 wins and 3 draws if it stays this way. Lewis Dunk now to his colleague Shane Duffy, who made the initial mistake on the first goal. They didn't pick up Chris Wood on the second goal. Burnley are 2-0 up, and they've got that cushion they so desperately wanted. Now they'll Try and defend it right until the hilt. They've got 25 minutes just to keep a clean sheet now. Take it back to Turf Boy. If they can keep a clean sheet, this is good news for the goal difference as well. A clean sheet's always important in these situations, and Burnley at the moment are heading towards 15th place. They're going to jump up 3 places from 18th to 15th as things stand at the moment. Chris Hughton knows the importance now of Yekenbach and Basuma right now, and he's going to use all his aces with 25 minutes left to play. Dunk now for Brighton in his own half. 2-0 they trail the Clarets, who have been to a man magnificent. From the 0-1 to 11 they have been absolutely superb, and value for their lead. 2-0 lead. Yes, Brighton have done most of the attacking, but when you're a Burnley fan or a supporter or a player, who cares? So the changes are happening. Lancashire cuts a forlorn figure. He's replaced by Yekenbach. Try saying that quickly. And Pascal Gross, who had 2 fantastic volleys, well repelled by Tom Eaton in the first half, he's now being replaced by number 8 Basuma. So Chris Hughton has only used all 3. Of course, Knockout came on 2 minutes into the second half to replace Solly March, who has come off. And both Brighton subs are not happy. They've been subbed off. They've gone straight down the tunnel, which shows the body language. And Chris Hughton, if they are to lose this game, he's got a big job on his hands now to pick this lot up. There were 2 very, very unhappy people going down that Brighton tunnel here at the Amex. They weren't happy about being substituted. I would have thought Pascal Gross more than Lancashire. Lancashire didn't look out of. He looks well out of place today. But having said all that, Brighton have only made it difficult for themselves now. They need 2 goals in just under 25 minutes. Here's Gitan Bong. Bong has twisted and turned his man, gets the crossing in. It's a poor cross from Gitan Bong, and it's out, and it's curled out of play for a goal kick. And Tom Heaton will try and take as much time as he legally can to get the ball clear. Chris Wood with the second goal. This was Dwight McNeil. Another assist for Dwight. He's had plenty of those. A bit fortunate there to get the ball, but as they say, he's a very, very brave sort of player, and as they say, fortune does favour the brave. Matt Ryan will be annoyed at that, but it's a decent finish though from Chris Wood. 6 goals this season. He got 12 last season, and he's 7 away from equaling that tally at the moment. As things stand, you wouldn't put it past him or Ashley Barnes for that matter. Burnley got a corner here on the far side. No, it ball had amazingly stayed in play. So, and well, if they choose to later on in the piece, they can bring on 6'7" of Peter Crouch and all 38 years of him. Certainly made a dramatic effect in the game against Southampton when they were trailing quite controversially, and he had his part in the decision which led to, in the end, a penalty being ordered in the 4th minute of stoppage time. Brighton 2 goals down and really probably needing snookers if they're going to win this game from here on in, to be quite honest. And here they come now, cross from Montoya, but it's nodded away quite easily there by the Burnley defenders, who have won every header, most headers inside their own penalty area all day long. Shows the golfing class of the two at the moment in current form. Brighton 1 winning 10 in the Premier League, could be 1 winning 11 if this stays the same, and Burnley would go 7 unbeaten, 4 wins and 3 draws, although two of those 3 draws should be wins. Sean Dyche is absolutely will be delighted the way it's all gone as we go past we've gone just past the midway point of the second half now, and all Burnley have to do is not do anything daft, not do anything stupid, and they're on performance. So Crouch has well, I'm not sure that's wrong. I don't know what your views on that is. They're not racist. They're not racist at all. Can we keep the racism thing out of it, Millwall, please? I mean, can I just say also, I commentated on your match 2 weeks ago against Everton, and you were superb. Your team was superb, and I give you all the credit in the world. So just lay off Burnley a little bit, okay? We know about Millwall's reputation, but I don't want to go into the racism thing. We're here to bring football. Let the events off the pitch play itself out. I'm just going to finish it off with this. Jay Rodriguez was not found guilty. End of story. Let's move on. And I only want conversations about football and not what's happened off the pitch. Burnley are 2 up, and Barnes controls the ball with his chest. I think one or two Brighton fans felt he used his hand, but definitely chest for me, and it's Ben Mee to get the ball forward. 2-0 they lead with 20 minutes just over to go. Been a terrific away performance from the Clarets. Would move them away from the bottom 3. They were plunged into it at kick-off time thanks to a late Cardiff City winner. But Burnley have reacted positively and magnificently, and have scored 2 magnificent goals through Chris Wood that could well win them the day, but there's still 20 minutes to go. Brighton needing 2 goals plus snookers if they're going to get any points from this game. Here's Lewis Dunk now for the Seagulls. A few empty seats I've just noticed on the far side. Dunk now gets the ball back from Yakinbach and gets the ball back again. And now Dale Stevens, 10 yards inside the Brighton and Hove Albion half. Here's Dunk again. A real leader of men, but at the moment his leadership skills will be needed more than anything. Just Tarkowski just boots the loose ball away, and that's safety first defending. I've got to say, ball threaded through, and Tarkowski's right. I'm going to put my right foot through this, and I'm going to hit it as far away at the field as I can. As it happens, it's a throw-in 15 yards from the edge of the penalty area into Glenn Murray from the throw-in from Bong. Bong gets the ball back, played into number 8 Bissouma. Bissouma now back to Lewis Dunk once again. Burnley winning 2-0 here. Good news for the Clarets. The Clarets game live from the Amex. Keep the comments clean, and of course JBMLTM is now open for business. Choose the name of your player, but hashtag it with the initials JBMLTM, please. Otherwise it won't count. There's a man free on the far side. I'll just come back to the man in the match in a second or two. There was appeals of handball from the Brighton players, but nothing given from the referee. He was just stayed practically unmoved, and the flag has stayed down, and Barnes is in the clear. This could settle it now. He's got 2 over side. He goes round the keeper. He goes down. It's got to be a penalty. The referee orders the penalty, and surely now must send off the goalkeeper. Yellow card for the goalkeeper. I felt that was a red card offence. It had to be a red card. He was the last man, and I think Matt Ryan should have gone. Brighton are complaining they should have had a penalty down the other end, but Burnley get one here, and I think Barnes would score there, and I think Chris Wood is very lucky. I think Matt Ryan is very lucky to still be on the pitch in order to still save a penalty. No chance, no chance. It comes off his chest and his arm. Sorry, no penalty. Glenn Murray can appeal all he wants. Brighton are still complaining, which is not going to help the taker, and I think it will be Ashley Barnes to take it. No VAR, so it can't be rescinded. And Barnes to really put the final nail today in his old club's coffin. Ryan very lucky to escape with a red card. Barnes has scored all 5, 2 to the left, 3 to the right. So he's got a good penalty record, and he has the chance to settle the issue. 73 minutes gone. It's a long wait for Barnes, but he's a very capable penalty taker. We saw that last week against Southampton, and doesn't look well. Don't decisions add up at the end of the day. Burnley didn't get a cast iron penalty last week. They've got one this week from a similar situation. Well played Stuart Atwell, but he should have sent off the goalkeeper because he was through on goal, in my opinion. So Barnes against Ryan from 12 yards. Right foot scores into the corner. 3-0. The left-hand corner there, and Barnes surely puts the final nail in his old club's coffin. It's a marvellous day for the Clarets in the rain down here in Sussex. It's Brighton and Hove Albion 0, Burnley 3, and what a result this is going to be for the Clarets. Magnificent performance, and what a penalty. Brian guessed right, but it was just too much into the corner. Perfect penalty, hit with some ferocity into the left-hand corner, and Burnley are going to be victorious this afternoon. And there's no doubt that Barnes got the penalty. The referee was quite right in my opinion, but that wasn't a penalty. He's chested it. He's chested it for me, absolutely. Little Sports Dream says subbed. Thank you very much for your subscription. Brighton can feel on his sense, but it clearly hits his chest for me. No penalty. There's definitely a penalty at the other end, which Barnes has converted. And with a quarter of an hour left, more Brighton fans are leaving in their droves, and they are in massive trouble at the bottom end of the Premier League table. And what a big difference this is going to be for Burnley now, because the goal difference is going to pile up. Meanwhile, there's a yellow card in the offing for one of the Burnley players. There's a free kick there. Missed out. Well, has got his yellow card well and truly out. I'll do that later because I'm busy commentating as well, but I will tell you a bit later on. Little Sport Dream there. Ashley Westwood in fact has been booked for that. So a free kick to Brighton. 3 goals down, a quarter of an hour to go here on the Clarets game live, and it's turning into a good day for the Clarets, but they've got it's a goal for Brighton inside the penalty area. It's Lewis Dunk, I think, and all of a sudden Brighton are on the board. It's Shane Duffy, in fact. Shane Duffy with a free header. Burnley will not be happy with the marking there. That's a little bit of a blow there for Burnley, because all's vulnerable when you just scored a goal, but there's 2 men upside there. Well, no, maybe Barnes is playing them upside actually, to be fair. No chance Tom Eaton, to be fair to him. There's a good header there from Duffy, but I think it's probably too little too late anyway for Brighton. But it's a fantastic header. Could have conceivably scored in the first half, right at the end of the first half if you remember. But Brighton are on the scoreboard. Chris Shooton reckons it's going to be a comeback. I still believe Burnley will still get the points regardless of which. It's his 5th goal of the season for Shane Duffy, in fact. But I think it's too little too late now for Brighton. I still think Burnley should see it home. Fiorentina had Napoli finish goalless. That doesn't help Napoli's Scudetto chances. Well, if there's any respectability, well, at least Brighton have put some respectability from their end of things into the scoreline. But Burnley are on the attack. They're still 3-1 to the good, so no one can be truly worried from a current viewpoint. Still a 2-goal buffer, time still rapidly running out, and Brighton urging Burnley to get on with it. But Burnley are well within their rights. They've bought themselves this 3 goals to 1 lead, and they're going to take as much time as they legally dare. Interestingly though, Ben Mee has come forward from the back. Burnley are not finishing at 3 by the looks of it. Tarkowski is telling me there is 4 in the penalty area as this corner comes into the penalty area. Ben Mee's there and almost gone on the end of it as well. In fact, he'd gone on the end of it, but he would have taken a miracle to direct it goalwards. It was right towards the back post and he was under a little bit of pressure there. I think it was Lewis Dunk who shoulder charged him quite legally, obviously, away from him in the end. But wow, that was some moment, that. And the ball intended for Barnes could not be rescued. But wow, what a marvellous day this is going to be for Burnley Football Club. What a moment this is going to be in the season. Up to 15th now in the table if things stand, and maybe justice is being done for those bad decisions that we had to endure at Old Trafford and at Turf Moor last week. It's certainly one of the performances of Burnley's season, despite the fact that Duffy has scored for Brighton. But what Burnley can't afford to do is concede a 2nd goal, and then it would be even more nail-biting and a little bit more tense than it needs to be. Burnley have just got to be professional and have a little bit more professionals care about them now. That's a poor ball to Gitan Bong and out of play, and Burnley will have the throw halfway inside their own half on their right hand side, the near side as we look. What a performance Burnley have put in. Okay, they didn't defend the Brighton goal as well as they should have done, but having said all that, Burnley have been good value for their lead. Yakimbach, who played the ball in. It wasn't a particularly good ball, in fairness. Now the number 8 picks the ball up. It's Bissouma for Brighton. Still the stadium emptying a little bit. Maybe the Brighton fans have decided that time is going to beat them in the end. They still need another 2 goals if they're going to even get a point out of this game. And now here come Burnley now just to bring it away, and it's Jack Cork over on the far side. Wood wants it played to the left, to the right, and Cork has worked a miracle to keep possession, and it's almost found Dwight McNeil as well, although Barsley was screaming for it on the right hand channel, and I think he was intending to play it for Barsley. I think McNeil tried to get in the way of the pass, and in the end the attack broke down. But what a good run away from Cork. He'd also bought Burnley a few seconds. This is Murray down the near side, but wait a moment, still might not be cut and blow dried yet. Burnley looking to just hit it away, and they do. Well, you wait 68 games for penalties, and 2 come along in the space of a week for the Clarets. No handball, definitely not against Jack Cork. His hands was down in a natural position, and no way you can be awarded a penalty for that. Still 3-1 to the Clarets, and it's tantalising the Cubs. So a big win on the offing. The ball is just about kept in play. Burnley are winning 3-1. Liverpool won today 3-0 against Bournemouth. Manchester United won away from home 3-0 against Fulham. Cardiff got a victory against Southampton, which annoyed me a little bit earlier on this evening because I didn't think they were worthy of it, having seen the game. Crystal Palace and West Ham shared the spoils, 1-1, and also, as I say, winning 2-1 against Huddersfield. Those were just some of the scores from earlier on today. As the ball comes into the penalty area, Gitan Bong takes the ball. Yeah, I do agree though. Rest in peace, Salah. And it was a really shocking news on Thursday when he did pass away. My sympathies do go to Salah and his family. That's the Cardiff City and not Salah, not Mohamed Salah of Liverpool. I should add, Salah spelled S-A-L-A. Our thoughts are with his family and friends. And this must be a very distressing moment. The pilot incidentally has not been found. As the corner comes into the penalty area towards Lewis Dunk, who appeals a corner, but the referee's ordered a goal kick. Burnley are on course though for a famous victory, and well, he eases the pressure on them, but puts Brighton right into the gunge, if you like, into the pool of trouble, the quagmire of trouble at the bottom end of the Premier League table. Burnley will win it at 5:30 this evening. They're going to be out of it by around about 7:20 this evening. If things do indeed stay the same. It's wet, it's murky, it's windy, it's horrible on the south coast. It's going to be a horrible night for Brighton fans, but it's going to be a long trip, but a worthwhile trip for all the Clarets who basically set off from the crack of dawn here for a 5:30 kickoff. As Brighton go in there looking for a penalty. I think he's given a goal kick, has he? I think he has. Just for one moment I thought he was going to order a penalty as the ball was played in. I'm just having a look again from the reverse angle, and I'm just having it fed to me now. I'm just having a look again. No, he's going down a little bit too easily. I don't think the referee would have been entitled to award Brighton a penalty. It was a clear, desperate attempt to win the ball, and the referee was strong-willed not to give it, and I thought it was the right decision. That's a poor decision though against Ashley Barnes. Clearly used his chest with 6 minutes almost to go. Brighton still need a couple of goals plus snookers if they're even to have any ambitions of drawing the game, let alone winning it. Free kick, he's floated into the penalty area. Up go the heads, and not for the first time a Clarets head won it. A dark shirted player won it for Burnley. Again, the blocks coming in. This is better from Burnley defensively. Here's Gitan Bong with a crossing from the left hand side. Ball will break to the far side here, and Montoya will try and hook across it. Oh, spend me there with a lapse in concentration which could have cost Burnley a second goal, but it hasn't, and they're bringing the ball away now. and they just got to show a little bit of professional care here and just edge the penalty away. Parma and Inter Milan kick off at 7:30 incidentally in the Serie A. Hopefully we'll be able to bring you some interviews with Sean Dyche at the end. I'll certainly play them on Facebook for you after the game. Here's Ashley Westwood now for the Clarets as they look to just bring about the victory. In fact, we'll bring you the Sean Dyche interview on another YouTube video later on for you to look over, and bring you the Brighton view as well. But it's been a remarkable day here in the Premier League. Last 5.5 minutes now. It's going to be still a long time here for Burnley to try and hook in there. No handball there. No Brighton players, in fairness, appealed the decision. Tarkowski's had a marvellous game. Ben Mee made a couple of rickets but didn't cost Burnley dear, thankfully, in the end, as we come up to the final 5 minutes of the second half. And Burnley still on course for what will be a famous victory, a rare victory here in Sussex. And here's Lewis Dunk. No, they're not giving up. Brighton, they're still attacking, but Burnley have brought 7, 8, 9 men behind the ball as the cross comes in by Gitan Bong, and the header comes in from Knockaert, which is well wide of the left hand post and behind for a goal kick to the Clarets. 4.5 minutes to go, and the Clarets on course for victory. It's a marvellous performance, an away performance. Yes, the Clarets had to ride their luck a wee bit. Tom Heaton's had to make a couple of smart saves, especially in the first half, to deny twice Pascal Gross, and then late on from Solly March at 0-0. If that goes in, it's a completely different ball game. That is to be assured of. But having said all that, Burnley have put in a fantastic shift, and the old 1-11 stakes. But let's not detract. It's a great 3 points. It was a difficult place, but the form has told in the end. It's gone to the form book in some respects, Mike. I have to say the first half, Mike, was very nip and tuck. Brighton could have took the lead at certain points. Tom Heaton, we needed 3 times. Duffy had one headed off the line towards the end. But we've battled in there and done really well, and you can tell that Brighton are a team devoid of any confidence. 1 winning 10 going into this one today. It's going to be 1 winning 11. I'll tell you later on. I'm still busy with the commentary, but I will tell you a little bit later on. Here's Duffy now for Brighton. Remember, you've got about 3 minutes. I'm going to choose a JB man in the match here. No one's voted for the JB man in the match. You've got 3 minutes to vote. Put your name of your player and then hashtag it with hashtag JBMOTM, please. It will count as a vote if you hashtag it with those initials, remember. If not, I will have to decide the voting. At the moment, I wouldn't like to tell who it was. Burnley haven't used a sub. That's quite fervent, it is, but we haven't needed to. Chris Woodman in a match, I have to say I would have prumped for him anyway, Mike, if there was no votes. But he has been superb. 2 goals, 6 goals for the season. Same now as, I think Barnes is on 7 now, I think, for the season. Good penalty from him. Maybe arguments that Matt Ryan should have been sent off, but at the end of the day, I don't think it's going to matter too much in the grand scheme of things. The fact is that you wait 68 games for a Premier League penalty, and then 2 come along in a week. So I think Burnley fans should be grateful for small mercies in some respects, as the ball was lifted in there towards Glenn Murray, and again Ben Mee bravely winning the header, and I think one of the Burnley players has gone down. It might not be Ben Mee, actually. It might be Talk. Yeah, it is Ben Mee. Couldn't tell there. But Ben Mee's in some trouble here. Now they do have Kevin Long on the bench. Sean Dyche just having a word or two. I think it's Dave Coote who's the 4th official. Ali Beattie's having to work overtime as the ball is threaded in. It's a brave header one. And Glenn Murray actually bumped into him there. I don't know how purposeful that was. I'd like to see get a close-up view of it, but Ben Mee does not look in good nick at all. I just wonder whether he'll take off Ben Mee at this point as a precaution. I think the game's well and truly won anyway. I think it would be best not to risk it. They're still saying that's a handball against Jeff Henrik, but I'm not convinced that's a penalty anyway for Brighton. But it was definitely a penalty. I still believe Matt Ryan should have gone for the challenge because he was the last man. But having said all that, what a penalty that is. You can only pick one, but I'll give one vote to Wood and one to Heaton. But it looks as if Chris Wood will get the result anyway. But I think it was a toss-up between Wood and Heaton. But I'll give you a vote each. But it's still 2-1 to Wood. And I'm pleased to report Ben Mee, he's okay, he's on his feet and he's lightly jogging. I would actually, if I was Sean Dyche, just take him off and put on Kevin Long now for the rest, or Ben Gibson now for the rest of the game, and just say to Ben Mee, just let's protect this, let's protect it now. We've won the game, 20 seconds of normal time to go, and let's just see it out now to the end. Tom Heaton now just telling his players to go forward. I'm not sure if they want to at this stage. There's a 2-goal lead to protect. I think he's going out to try and close the ball down. Brighton have it now inside the Burnley half. Gitan Bond with a hopeful pump up the front field towards Glenn Murray. Chance here inside the area for Basuma. Brighton still trying to make a game of it, and fair play to them. They are trying to do that. Yekenbach now playing the ball towards the 25-yard from goal mark, but the ball hooked away by Burnley. They've done really well defensively today. Apart from that one goal they conceded, 4 added minutes at the end. Not sure how much a difference it will make in terms of the overall result, as the ball played into the penalty area. It misses everybody inside the penalty area, and a goal kick it is. Poor Burnley. Phil Bardsley, good professional job at the back. He's done really well. I have to say all 11 Burnley players have played their part in what's going to be a magnificent victory. And I'm going to tell you now, announce the results. Chris Wood 2 votes to 1 over Tom Heaton, and in fact he would have got my casting votes anyway, just narrowly over Tom Heaton. 2 magnificently taken goals, but a word or two for Tom Heaton. Those 4 saves in the first half were crucial to Burnley's success here today, and those should not be forgotten. But it's been a great performance from the Clarets. We played a minute of the 4, and the Amex, certainly from the home fans' point of view, starting to empty so rapidly you wouldn't believe it. But Brighton are now in big trouble. They look safe a month or 2 back, but I think from that defeat at Turf Moor onwards, it's been a real downward spiral, and it looks as if now they're going to go 7 unbeaten, and it's the first time that's ever happened in their Premier League existence. Burnley, this is, so they're into a real, so this is going to be real history making stuff here for the Clarets. 7 unbeaten. They are back to their hard to beat best, and that can only be good for the morale of the players, the supporters, everything else. Little Sport Dreamer has subscribed to the channel. Thank you very much for your subscription. I will talk to you privately about the PSN details later, but we've still got 2 minutes to the 4. I've still got a match report to compile for Facebook, which is going to be great. So level on points with Brighton and Palace, probably still an inferior goal difference, but 3 goals, 4 and 1 against. It's not a bad return today. Although if we were to be greedy, I would have liked the clean sheet, but it's all about 3 points that really matters. And now Burnley are going to be a massive winner, along with Cardiff really at the bottom end of the Premier League table, as the ball threaded in, well won again by Tarkowski. How many times have we said that over the course of the last 2 or 3 weeks? How many headers he's won inside that penalty area, and again on hand to nod away. It was Charlie Taylor in actual fact that nodded away. Tarkowski, oh my goodness, it hit Ben Mee and fortuitously came towards Tom Heaton. It was a bit of a, oh my goodness me. 1 minute to play. It would have been no more than a consolation goal, but it was a little bit Keystone Cops. Tarkowski won the ball quite well. Ben Mee, it was just a bit unfortunate really. I don't think you could have blamed Ben Mee if it had gone in off his side of his head. He wasn't to know that, as Burnley looked to try and counter again, but the ball was met with Matt Ryan. But it doesn't matter. 40 seconds left, and Burnley will be heading away from Sussex with all 3 points signed, sealed and delivered. Here goes Jeff Henrik. No, there'll be no rant tonight from JB. It's all happy and all delightful here down in Sussex. Premier League 3, Schalke 1 is the full-time score. What a game. What a day in the Premier League today. Liverpool winning, going top by 3 points. Cardiff thought they were out of trouble. by beating Southampton. They could be now plunged back into it with Burnley's result today. What a performance this has been. And we've got to be near the top of the tree on match today. 4 seconds left off stoppage time. Brighton now to pump the ball in. They need 2 goals and about 6 million snookers now with the time that remains. And the referee blows for time. And what a result for Sean Dyche and for Burnley Football Club. That could be a crucial moment. They are now level on points with Crystal Palace and Brighton. They do have an inferior goal difference to both teams, but what a result. 27 points, they move 3 clear. Southampton now dropping to the bottom 3 with their defeat to Cardiff. So this really is, the plot thickens now at the bottom end of the table. 3 from 8 have to go here. And at the moment, Burnley are doing what they can. Crystal Palace with a -7 goal difference. Incidentally, Brighton with a -11. And Burnley are 15th, purely and simply because they have a bad goal difference at the 3 teams. But a morale boosting victory 3-1 today. Thoroughly deserved. Chris Wood got the first one after 26 minutes. And got the second not long after the start of the second half, about 10 minutes into the second half, when he got the, might have been around about the hour mark when he struck the second goal. And then a penalty was ordered when Burnley broke away after Brighton felt they had a case of a penalty, which I don't think was given. But having said that, what a performance. It really was superb. And one thing you can't reiterate is they have played some remarkably great football today, Burnley. Yes, they had to ride the luck, and yes, they had to rely on Tom Heaton. But at the end of the day, maybe for once, maybe just for once, Burnley deserved a bit of fortune and a bit of credit on their side. Well, a remarkable match of football down here in Sussex. It's been remarkable for all sorts of reasons. I will bring you the Sean Dyche interviews on another video later. But right now I'm off now to grab some tea. I will talk to you a bit later on tonight, Little Sport Dreamer, on YouTube. But at the moment I'm very busy. I've got 1 or 2 things to sort out as well, family wise. It's been very, very manic tonight, and I've got to do the Facebook report as well. But thank you very much indeed for tuning in. Thanks to Mike, thanks to Little Sport Dreamer, thanks to Panini. See you all next time. The FA Cup returns next weekend, and one of our matches will be the 5:30 kick-off between 4th tier Newport Town, who beat Middlesbrough in that fantastic performance at Rodney Parade, and Manchester City, the current holders of the Premier League, are the team that have to make that long, arduous journey to Valley Parade. Be sure to join me next week for that one. I think it's going to be an absolute cracker. So a week off for Burnley, and they'll go into it now knowing that they're in 15th, 3 points above the drop zone. They've got Spurs in a couple of weeks' time, and we'll be across that game in 2 weeks' time. But next week, it's all about the FA Cup 5th round and the Champions League too. But from me, JB, have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next week for Champions League, European action, hopefully, and FA Cup commentaries. Until then, from me, JB, and by the way, one more statistic before we go. This is the 50th full-length commentary of the season on this YouTube channel. And give yourselves a round of applause if you've listened to all 50 of them this season, with me, Russ Vernon and Chris Whiteman all commentating as well as myself. It's our 50th commentary. It's a happy 50th commentary to us this season. Plenty more to come though from now until May. But as I say, what a way to mark our 50th commentary live this season. And what a victory. The Clarets game, what a day for Burnley Football Club. 3-1 winners against a very out of sorts Brighton and Hove Albion. Enjoy your Saturday. Good night.